This is Shay Bynes, founder and chief fire igniter of Kingdom Driven Entrepreneur, and this is the KDE Podcast Live. With a beautifully diverse panel of co-hosts, get ready for powerful and fresh perspectives of what it looks like to be a Kingdom Driven Entrepreneur. Let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. Hello, everyone out there in podcast land, whether you're watching live, watching the replay, or listening to the replay. Hello, hello, and hello again. It is I, Latara Venice, and I am here with Phil, Brandon, and Dory. Let me say something real quick. A lot of people may be thinking, why did she say Latara Venice? Why she give her first and last name and only give their first names? Well, Venice is my middle name, not my last name.
There we go.
Just thought I would let you know.
And you know, Latara, I was a deprived child. I don't have a middle name, so it's just Dory.
Mm-hmm. So that's why I say that's it. That's it. That's my name. I'm sticking to it. My middle name is it. So I don't know Phil's middle name. I don't know Brandon's middle name. And Dory says she doesn't have a middle name. So therefore I am Latara Venice. That is who I am. I just wanted y'all to know I'm not being picking myself over everybody else. I don't have to do that. I'm cute enough. I'm cute enough, right?
Humble. There we go.
Glad that you are. Listen. I'm a mama and my daddy's child. Listen, I tell people all the time they were both. My mama is really. I go, hey, good morning, gorgeous. She says hello. That's my mother every morning. So, mama, you sure look good today. And she says, I know. She doesn't say thank you. She doesn't say. She says, don't I?
It runs in the family.
I get it honestly. And Brandon knows AJ, and he'll tell you AJ gets it honestly too. AJ's a bit of a ham too. He is. We get it honestly. Brayhan's a little more humble, but that's our family. That's my life. What's going on with you guys today? I'm excited about today's topic too. Really, really excited. Talking about finding your purpose in the marketplace. That's going to be good. What's going on with you, Dory?
Oh, all kinds of things, Latara. I've been working with several kids on the autism spectrum for drum therapy sessions, and they're making amazing results. It's so good to see. It's like, yes, wow. A lot of the parents weren't sure, was this going to work? And it's like, well, look at them go now. Awesome. So, they're getting all kinds of benefits, even though they just think they're noodling around on a drum. But, that's cool. And September, I have every weekend booked because I'm doing vendor fairs. I'm doing events. I even get to perform at one on backup percussion. Awesome. So that should be fun. So yeah, been keeping busy.
Awesome. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. Stay busy. Like they say, I won't say it. What they say, booked and busy, booked and something. Anyway, booked, beautiful, and busy. Something they be saying.
Oh, I like that. There we go. Yeah. I like that one. I'm going to use it.
Beautiful and busy, I believe is what they go. And I'll be like, okay, whatever. Brandon, you've been riding some bikes?
Been riding some bikes. So yeah, I've been having fun mountain bike riding. I'm pretty spoiled because I can go straight from my garage and go across the street. I mean, there's definitely some incline. Have to climb that, but then you get the fun on the downhill. So I can be in and out in less than 30 minutes or so. And I'm trying to minimize the friction as much as possible. Just like anything, going to the gym or whatever new routine or habit you want, make it as easy as possible, especially at first, because then it's much easier to get myself out there versus, you've got to drive 15 minutes or you've got to drive 30 minutes to this thing and then ride for 2 hours. So it's nice to get out there. Beautiful weather that we've been having too, which is fortunate. And then business-wise, I'm excited. I've got a meeting later today with someone who connected with me. They found me through either Google or Instagram, somewhere on the interwebs. So that's always exciting when someone reaches out to you because they've seen your stuff. So it's proof that, or confirmation, at least for me, that content is getting noticed, even though sometimes the vanity metrics don't always show. But there's what I found in my experience, people are watching. You just might not know.
That's what I talked about the other day in our I did a meeting the other day, and I talked about the spark to the mentors. I talked about just be the spark. That's it. Just be the spark, and then Don't look for the boom, just look for the spark and start there. So yeah.
Love it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm not gonna walk right out my house and go to no cliff or nothing and get on the bike. So, but I do have a mat in there, and I can go right to my den when I get up in the morning. It's right next to my room, and I work out. My stuff is already there. So, it's good stuff. Good stuff. And yes, people are watching. Know that just because somebody don't like your stuff, just because you don't have 10 million views and 10 million shares, don't whine like a baby. Somebody's watching.
Yeah. I think always a good reminder, will you do it for the one?
Will you do it for the one? Right. That's it right there. Will you do it for the one? Somebody is watching. Something makes a difference that you do. Just do it. That's it. Just do it. Okay, Nike, don't come after us. No, we ain't got all that money. Don't be trying to sue us, okay? All right. Mr. Bynes.
Yeah, I was trying to see if you're going to lose track and forget about me, but I wasn't going to say nothing either. But Joy says I look sad. I'm fine, Joy. I'm okay. So what's been going on? I've been in talks with an esthetician to potentially share some space with me. And so that's going to be exciting. That's going to be something that I've had in the back of my mind for a while, working in collaboration with someone else, not as a employee or anything like that, but like you have your own business, I have my own business. How can we collaborate even in the same space? So that's exciting to have that. And it seems like it's definitely was a God orchestrated thing, because last time I saw her, which was probably the end of last week, maybe that was the beginning of this week, she was sharing with me how she came to even look me up and call me, right? And so it was definitely a God inspired thing. So that's pretty cool.
I like that. That's cool. That's cool. Collaboration, and collaboration comes in many different ways on many different levels. So always have your eyes open. And something I learned the other day, I don't know what I was listening to, so don't ask me. I don't know who I was listening to. Oh, it was Shay. Some is to always ask God, is there open doors of collaboration for me? Basically, look for collaboration, because God really does want us to learn how to connect and work together. And I know we talk about that a whole lot on this podcast. Guess what? We're going to keep talking about it. This is what it is. You will hear us talk about community, connection, and collaboration all the time, because it's a huge part of what we do and who we are at KDE anyway. So, like I tell people, you heard it before. Here it is again. No problem. Right. Sometimes we have to be reminded of those things. So I am super excited, Phil, to learn more about that, because I love estheticians, because I love beautiful skin. So I'm when it comes to my skin, I'm vain. Like that's one area I like. Bump. Oh, wait a minute. Where's the tea tree oil?
Now we know.
Go on, Dory.
So now we know, giving away all your trade secrets.
I will give them
beauty
I
tips.
want people to have just as pretty a skin as I do. If you want pretty skin, talk to me. Drink some water and wash your face. That's what I tell people all the time. Drink some water and wash. You would be amazed at grown folks who don't wash their face. Put some soap to your face. Okay, we're not here for that. Okay.
Today's beauty tips on the KDE Live podcast.
Put some soap to your face, okay? The right kind of soap, not no Ivory, no Dove. Don't put that on your face. Don't put that on your face. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me.
And we're back.
Let me keep going. We're back. Okay. What's going on with me? Well, tomorrow I have my very first holistic wellness for women leaders workshop. It's going to be free, and I'm super excited to have that audience to talk to. I'm excited to have some direction. Lord Jesus, thank you. Woo! To have some direction and some sure set services and paths that I'm bringing to different people. So I just love it. I love it. I'm excited. And that's what I'm doing. My garden grows and my earrings are cute. So that's it. That's what's going on with me. That's it. I know I bring the comedy. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to bring the comedy.
My garden grows and my earrings are cute.
They are. And I might go out and check on my garden with my cute earrings and my lipstick a little bit later. You just never know with me. You never know, because that's how I am.
We need to take this video, a screenshot, and put that quote underneath Latara and put it on the page, and have the people look like, what?
What is this podcast about?
My earrings are cute. You know, hey,
Okay.
listen, for the first 10, 15 minutes, we banter. That's good. That's what we're supposed to do. That's what this is. You know, what if we were just stuffy and stuck? Would nobody even want to watch us?
That's right, with our lowered podcast voices. So,
Right.
Latara, what do you think of that business topic?
What if we did that all the time? I mean, that's not us. We're, everybody has their own flow. Everybody has, and that's what I love. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. As a matter of fact, Michelle is ready to come on. She has her own flow too. Michelle is really, now she's funny, but Michelle is really settled. That's our settled one right there. That's the settled one. Phil is the philosophical one. Phil is the philosophical theology dude, That's who Phil is. And every now and then he likes to mess with me. He likes to pick on me. Right?
Yeah.
And
Latara's earrings, they're the cheerleader ones. Be aggressive.
Be aggressive.
For people listening, this did not make sense.
All right, because I'm cute. That's all right. All right, you guys, that's enough. Let's bring Michelle in for our specialist segment. This is going to be really good. I took a listen to it, and of course, it's always going to be in alignment with what we're talking about today. We don't plan these things. It just happens. All right, here we go.
Here, I'm a behavior strategist, and I am passionate about helping new and emerging entrepreneurs position themselves and their business for progress, growth, and success in partnership with God. And today, I want to share something that I've been noticing in the entrepreneurial space. So I've been having a number of conversations with different business owners and entrepreneurs, and one thing they seem to be talking about a lot is that what used to be is no longer, meaning what used to work in their business, such as their marketing strategies and their sales activities, are not bringing in the same type of revenue or results that they have seen in the past. And some of the efforts that they would put in is not bringing in the results that they used to bring. And so if I were to look at the pattern of what's happening, it seems like many of us are in a season of the pivot. So when I talk about pivot, I really mean any change that you choose to or need to make due to what's happening in your business. I personally had to make a major pivot in my business when COVID came. I had to learn how to transition from effective in-person workshops to online workshops. I also had to learn how to pivot from moving from one-on-one products to group services. And so when it comes to pivoting in your business, everybody has to go through it at one point or time. But it just seems like now more of us are in a season of learning how to pivot. The question is, when you do have to pivot, how can you do it successfully? I have come to learn that when you want to be successful in anything, it starts with your heart and your mindset. So today I want to share one mindset that you can adopt to be effective in the pivot. And it all starts with seeing your pivot as an opportunity. So often when we have to change something in our lives and in our businesses, that's where the frustration comes in. That's where the complaints come in. That's where the why do I have to do this mindset comes in. But I want to challenge you, entrepreneur, to see the pivot as an opportunity to do 5 things. First thing, see the pivot as an opportunity to be more. Be more of what God has called you to be. Be more as a business or entrepreneur, and even be more to your clients. At the end of the day, God through Holy Spirit is always evolving us, always changing us, always shaping us and molding us so that we get closer and closer to the image of Christ here on the earth. So look at pivot as an opportunity to be more. Number 2, see the pivot as an opportunity to serve more. So before a pivot, oftentimes you have a certain amount of clients, or you have your email list or your community that you serve. As you pivot, it opens the door for many more people to come in, many more clients to put their eyes on your business, many more opportunities for collaboration to happen. And so that is where you get to serve others and how you do customer service and how you do interactions and how you provide the solution to whatever your clients are looking for. So it's an opportunity to serve more in the marketplace. And isn't that what kingdom advancement is all about? Number 3, the pivot can be an opportunity to lead more. At the end of the day, if you are a business owner, you are a leader in some respect, where you are a leader of your team, of your employees, of the community that you serve. So there is some advancement of leadership skills that gets to happen in that season of pivot. And sometimes it happens whether you want it to or not. Sometimes it's fun and sometimes it's not. But growth is happening as a leader in the pivot. Opportunity number 4, the pivot can be an opportunity to listen more. Now, depending on your personality, you may not be excited about this, but when you are able to listen more, you learn more and you grow more. And so who are you listening to? Where there is definitely a place where you listen to your clients and you listen to your audience in terms of feedback, in terms of comments, in terms of requests. And that is so important when it comes to the growth of your business. But guess what? You also have the opportunity to listen more to the Father, to listen to what he is saying to you, to listen to the assignment that he's given, to listen to any changes that he is looking to make, whether he's trying to add something to you or your business or take away something to elevate you in your business. Either way, the pivot is an awesome opportunity to listen. And opportunity number 5 is that the pivot is an opportunity to faith more, to believe God for more, to walk in places where you don't see it, but you trust him in it. And you know that at the end, all things will work out for the good. And so a lot of times when you are in pivot, you are walking in something you've never walked in before. You're trying out things you have never tried before. Just recently, I tried something new in my business where I was offering services in a way that I've never done it before. And I wasn't 100% sure it would happen. But after praying about it, seeking his guidance on it, I was trusting that there would be fruit from what I was walking in faith for. And guess what? The fruit happened. And even from that one instance, there was even more fruit that came from it than I had even anticipated. So for those of you who are in the season of pivot, see it as an opportunity for more. That's all for today, and I'll see you guys next time.
That's some good stuff there, y'all.
Mhm.
Man, I don't know about y'all, but I've been in a season of pivot for a minute.
You and me both. Yeah, she hit the nail on the head with that one.
Oh, what did you guys think about that?
I've heard it a lot from other people besides, what my business is shifting. I know Latara's, yours is too. But Michelle is right. There are many people now who are thinking, well, what worked before isn't working now. Now what? And you kind of freak out a little bit because you're so used to doing things a certain way or offering certain services. And there might be some resistance because you're thinking, but I don't want to change things up. It was working. So you really have to take a step back, sit with the Holy Spirit, maybe even do some market research and just stay open to possibilities.
Yeah. I think the mindset that Michelle was talking about is so powerful, to seeing opportunity seeing the opportunity in the pivot, or even another word for pivot that some might not like as much, but change. Right? As human beings, we don't like to change things. As Dory, you were saying, we get in our routines and no, we want to keep doing things the exact same way. But I mean, even looking at this in the business context, look at any of the big companies. We'll use Apple as an example. Do you think the company looks different now than it did 20 years ago? Obviously, yeah, it does, right? I mean, the new technologies have come out. There's been more innovation. So many things are different, even though they still, for the most part, have stuck to the core of what they do. So I think that's the exciting part, right? I mean, if your business looks the exact same now as it did 5 years ago, or expect it to look the same in 5 to 10 years, that's probably not a great thing. Right? We need to be changing. We need to be growing and innovating and partnering with Holy Spirit and serving different people, serving the people that we're called to serve. So I love that. I think she's right on point there.
Yeah. I would say the thing that I kind of took from it, Well, I took a lot from it, but as I was listening to your responses, and the thing that came out of it is, yes, it's an opportunity for change, and change is needed. But also, this season of pivot also is just like our 4 seasons, right? In the natural, every season has a purpose, right? And so when we have the opportunity to, let's see, she said, be more, serve more, lead more, listen more, faith more. I think about it like you're sowing seeds in every season for what you're going to need for the next. And that's why God has given us opportunities for pivot.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's good. I loved what she talked about all the way around. I loved all the points. I loved everything you guys shared as well. And I loved it because I think sometimes when you're in business and you begin to see things don't work, you kind of begin to even doubt your purpose. Like, okay, wait a minute. I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I know this is where I'm supposed to be. But it's just like when a person gives me their tagline as their purpose. If I go, so why are you here? What is your, what's your purpose in business? What do you, they give me a tagline. It's, I'm here to serve 1,000 people and bring them into a different reality, and it's like, okay, I'm here to help women transition into different. Well, what does that look like? What does that mean? What's your purpose? Don't give me a tagline. Don't give me the 8 words. Don't give me that. What's your purpose, right? And a lot of people, when they are stuck in the tagline mode and God begins to pivot, they begin to wonder, am I really doing, my purpose? Well, if you understand that what your tagline is really a part of a message, not your purpose, then you're able to see, okay, my purpose is still the same. My purpose is still the same. I know who I am. I know why I'm here. My identity is sure. I get that. But when the message began to change, I kind of found myself doing this so I had to really do like Michelle said and really take some time to like faith more. That one right there, it was like, Lord, you see this shift. I've been doing this, color your soul. And he said, it's not changing. That's not changing. That's still there. The core of who you are, the core of what you do is not changing at all. But the message is different in this season for you. And I think we get a little nervous when that happens in business because first thing we think about is, oh, I'm going to lose money. I'm going to lose the people. I'm going to lose sight. And she spoke about your email list too, and how to pivot and how to talk to them. And so it's important that we understand it doesn't mean your purpose is changing. It means that God is shifting how you actually move in that purpose in whatever the season is. Right. So it's kind of why I wanted to come and have a conversation today, because we're in this season where a lot of people are in pivot mode. And I can imagine that many of them are having doubts and questioning themselves about, did I really hear God? Is this really my purpose? Am I supposed to be doing this? Sure, but maybe it looks different in the way that you're supposed to be doing it. So I wanted to just kind of bring us together and have a conversation about that, because I know I've been through a pivot, right? I know that most of our businesses, some kind of way, Brandon has been through a pivot where he moved from a company to building his own. So what does that look like? And how does your purpose tie to it in the marketplace? How do you find your calling in the marketplace? What does that look like? So let's talk about that. But first, what I want to do is pop a commercial in, y'all, because we got a commercial. We got a whole commercial for y'all, okay? And when we come back, I want you guys to get ready to answer the question on, how did God begin to show you what your purpose was in the marketplace? All right.
We're doing something pretty wild over here. Introducing the Kingdom Driven Entrepreneur All Access Course Pass. Get unlimited access to our entire library of transformative courses to help you grow and thrive in Kingdom Driven business. You get over $700 worth of courses for just $12.99 per month. That's right. For just $12.99 a month, you can access over $700 worth of courses, bonus audio trainings, and future course releases at no extra cost. Doing business in partnership with God is not only an invitation to experience God's best in business, it's what you're called to as a citizen of the kingdom of God. We've made this super affordable so that you can learn and grow with us all year long. So subscribe today at kdecoursepass.com.
Did y'all hear that? KDEcoursepass.com. Get on in there. $12.99. All those great courses and more are going to be added. Y'all better not slip on that.
Yeah,
And for business.
I'm sorry, I was
Phil.
going to say there'll at least be 2 more by the end of the year. That's what we're shooting for. And so, yeah.
Yeah, get on.
And I was gonna say also for business owners, confirm with your CPA, but tax deductible for most business owners.
right.
So
Let me remember
even more affordable.
Right. That's right. Any course, any training.
That's good. That's good. That's good. From the resident, there you go. There's our finance guy. Hey, we have it all, y'all. Finance. Listen, finance. We got the kingdom mandate. We got just your kingdom momentum. We got some of everything up in here. We got the philosophical field because he be bringing it, y'all. I'm telling you, he be bringing it. You have to step back and think. You have to go, woo, wait a minute, hold up. Okay, what did he just say? Let me back. Okay, I got it now. This is what he said. Maybe that's just me. Is that just me with Phil? Because
No, it's not. So I think I like the new name there, Philosophical Phil. There's your nickname.
All right, you guys. So the question before was, how did you know that, or how did God begin to show you what your calling was in the marketplace? Were you doing something else like I was, or did it just kind of come a different, like just you knew instantly? Just how did it work for you?
Oh, definitely, yes. Came out of left field, literally. In my case, I was in the education arena for many, many years, decades, in fact. And the last position, I worked for myself. I had my own educational services business, got recruited for a sales and marketing position, also in the education arena. And then, as many of you know, I got run over by a speeding bicyclist in a crowd of 200 people. And that's when God said, okay, this season has ended. I'm moving you from education to something else. And it turned out to be finding ways to use drumming for healing. I never would have seen that one coming at all. I was just drumming in the church band, using drumming for entertainment. And that opened up a whole new field, a whole different way of looking at things, experimentation, creating different programs. Again, I didn't see that, but God obviously did. So it was great that it worked for me. And I figured, okay, now I have to find ways to use this to help others.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah. For me, I guess it's always been the way how God deals with me. I start with a thought, and sometimes it's a big thought, and then asking questions and trying to figure out, well, what does this connect with? How do these pieces connect? And then before I know it, he's building on top of a foundation. So when it comes to like the massage practice for me, I just started with the big ideal of, when people ask, what do you want to do when you grow up? I didn't know. There was nothing, right? But I did have this unction or this feeling that whatever I did, I know I'm supposed to help people. And, as I thought about it more, I was like, I think it'll probably be in the medical arena because that's what I sense is where I can help people more. And as I went along, he kept giving me little breadcrumbs leading me to something that I didn't even know existed, like massage therapy, until my late teens is when or maybe even early 20s before I even discovered that career path. So, gave me some foundation stuff, speak to me based off of who I am, and gave me little breadcrumbs along the way.
For me, it wasn't an immediate thing. Looking back in hindsight, you can see how everything comes perfectly together because I didn't grow up wanting to get into the finance space as I am now, but got more involved in sports broadcasting and thought that's the direction that I was going to go for a while. But then kind of some doors closed there, and I happened upon the financial space, and then just kind of fell in love with it. So for me, and I wasn't walking with the Lord super closely then. I mean, I went to church and whatnot, and I was still a believer, but not kingdom driven. I hadn't connected to KDE yet. But what I kind of like the understanding what brought me energy, and knowing that this is something that I'm passionate about, was just having conversations with people about their money from a helpful lens. And so I'm like, okay, that's really interesting. And then once I did get connected to KDE, then I started to get even deeper into it, and it was even more confirming, because I would just have story after story of having conversations with people and being able to help them, and leaving those conversations with more energy than I came into them. So that was kind of the tailwind that I noticed, and then a lot of confirmations, I think, along the way. It wasn't this burning bush, you're going to be a financial advisor, planner type of scenario. It was, looking back, it worked out perfectly, of course, but in the moment it didn't always feel like that. But now I can easily say that, hey, follow the passions. God's given those to you for a reason.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. We're going to tap into passions here in a minute too, because I hear the kind, probably for all of us when I'm done, just about, there's a theme with passion and purpose. And I think our passions, sometimes they tell you passions don't make a difference, in purpose, yeah, it makes a difference. And I kind of want to dig into that a little bit too. For me, for many years, I was doing what I'm doing now as kind of a ministry. Like, it was ministry for me. And because I'm busy, being broke, helping people to brand their businesses, right? So I'm branding businesses. I'm, building websites. I'm doing all that little technical stuff on the side for people, doing all those little different things like that, and doing social media marketing for people, and just helping them to build their visibility. It was by my own experience. And one day God was like, yeah, well, that what you've been doing for years, inspiring and motivating and encouraging people to do this, that, and the other, a lot of that mental health stuff, that, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's business. And I was like, oh, okay. So we're moving that around. So that's how it happened for me. I've been, again, a lot of the work I'm doing now, I started doing really at church in ministry. So when I moved here to Oklahoma, I thought it was the same thing. Like, I still thought that was ministry all that time. And it was God telling me, no, it's where I want you in the marketplace, because it's really important. So that mental health piece, that emotional piece is really important. And I had no idea. I had no idea. And, going through my own experiences with it and understanding how important it was for your business kind of really led to that too. I've always been passionate about, people having their mind right. Like, let's get it together, because I know what it's like to be on the other side of crazy, and I didn't want nobody to be that. So, on the other side of sanity, and I didn't want anybody to be that. I wanted people to stay sane, and this is how we do it. This is what we do. And I just had to get to a place where I kind of understood a little bit more about it. And then God was like, all right, let's roll. And so, I went to college for psychology. So, but then I did something totally different, so it's right. So, and looking at our passions, they tend to kind of lend their way into our purposes. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. If I can jump back in there. Yeah, I think so. Making the connection between the passion and purpose. I think a lot of times at least for myself, what I've noticed is he starts to grow my passion through irritation. Right? There's something that's happening, and I'm asking myself, well, why are people doing this? Why are they like this, or whatever? And out of that, my taking the time to meditate and think about it is bringing almost a frustration, which I think he's intentionally agitating so that we can seek him for the answers, to begin to have the answers to bring to the world around us, right? And so, yeah, I think I can see that's how my passion has built over time. Right. Even now, from my overall purpose, I feel like when I look at myself as completely not just the business side of me, I see that part of my purpose is to help bring unity to the body of Christ. Right. And I can see how, all the things that he's walked me through is to that end. Right. The fact that I'm a massage therapist, he's taught me so much through the body that applies to unity. Right. He's he's showed me stuff even in leadership and ministry, like being frustrated. Well, hold up. They say that they're looking for this, but don't they see by doing this, it's not going to lead to that? That's the part of me that sees connections, right? And me being frustrated and seeing connections also drove my passion for, well, how do we do things in such a way where we actually have the outcomes that we're saying that we want to have? And so all those things are playing into my purpose. But yeah, it was passion.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, I love what Joy said. Nothing goes to waste in the kingdom. What the enemy meant for evil, your frustration, he will use for good, your passion. That's good. It's really, really good. Thank you for sharing that, Joy. That right there kind of hit it. When you talked about the frustration piece, I think about how frustrated I would get with people. Oftentimes when I would I could see people, right? And I can see who they are and the different things. And God would give me just messages or words of wisdom for them. And then they wouldn't follow through. And I'm just like, well, God, didn't you say that? It's like, I don't understand that. I don't get it. And, and I would see discernment and I would like give these warnings to people like, oh, you better watch out because so-and-so, I don't know what it is, but it's something wrong with the mind in that person. Be careful. I had no idea what all that meant. But over time, I began to realize that, whoa, wait a minute, God gave me that for a reason. Like you said, it feels like God gave me that for a reason. That was really important for me. And now I get it again, and I'm not ashamed of it. I used to would run from it. Like, oh, I don't want to see all of that, but I've always been passionate about people being more and doing more, even when I struggle with it with myself. Brandon, Dory?
Yeah, I can totally relate, Latara. A lot of the students that I worked with early on, again, it was mostly in a tutoring capacity. They didn't realize, how bright and how creative they were because all they kept hearing in school is, you can't do this, you can't do that, and all these labels that got attached to them, the alphabet soup after their name. ADHD, ODD, oppositional defiance disorder, LD, learning this. And I'm like, could we just drop the labels for a minute? I said, I'm going to change them actually. ADD in my book is a delightful dreamer, and ADHD is a definitely hyper drummer, and I'm both. So I told these kids, can we take a little break? I was doing SAT prep at the time, dead boring, but I got really good results because I created a creative approach to it. And I said, can we take a break? I want to show you something that I do as a hobby, but it's really fun, and it helps me focus better. And it also reduces stress. And these kids were super stressed out. And sure enough, we drummed for a little bit, just a few minutes, 5 or 10 minutes. And I noticed that the SAT problems that they had been working on and only getting a 40% accuracy rate, after only 5 or 10 minutes of drumming, they were getting a 100% accuracy rate.
Wow.
So that's when it was a student who said, Miss Dory, I think you're onto something.
Now, were you already moving in that or?
I was thinking about it. I had heard about the field of drum therapy and had looked at it a little bit, but it wasn't until my accident that I really thought, I wonder what else it could do. Can it help people physically? Can it help shift mindset issues? And I started to, with all these different types of people who needed different things. Yeah, it works for that. And it works for that. And it just was so funny because drumming was always a passion of mine. I've had rhythm in my body since I was a little girl. It was mostly in the form of dancing and, jazz and tap. And even working with rock bands for many, many years as their booking agent and promoter. Music is always in my head and I'm always tapping on something. I had no idea that you could actually use it beyond the entertainment space. So it's funny how God will take a passion of yours and say, hey, you can use this for the kingdom.
Yeah, good. That's good.
And one thing I really like about that story, to Dory, is then you were bold enough to take action. Like you weren't 100% sure. It sounds like you had read a bit about drum therapy, but it wasn't, thus saith the Lord, you're going to do drums in this SAT course, right? But you're like, okay, let's try it out. But you were bold enough to take the action, and then you got that feedback, and so much more information became available to you. So I think that's an awesome story of if we're feeling like God is leading us in a particular direction, maybe we don't know our purpose yet. Okay,
right.
Well, what are our passions? where do we think that he's leading us, even if we don't know with 100% certainty? Because spoiler alert, at least for me, I'm not always 100% certain with the direction that I'm heading. I mean, I want to make sure that it's in alignment, but as we take that next step, more information becomes available. And then even if we don't get it wrong, which we're not going to get it right all of the time, God can then gently course correct us. So I feel Dory's story is a perfect example of that. Of she was bold enough, took the action, that new information became available, and now look what it's blossomed into over however many years it's been now, and however many people you've been able to serve and help. That had you not done that at the beginning, how many people would have missed out on all the goodness that you carry?
Thanks, Brandon. And it's just to share with the listeners, keep in mind in the beginning, I thought, what are people going to think? This is so crazy. You know, nobody's doing this. Yes, they had people out there doing drum circles and things like that. And certainly teachers teaching drum lessons, but this was different. And I thought, I don't know what they're going to think. And should I move ahead with this? And then I just kind of started sneaking it in here and there and realizing, well, you know what? I'm creating my own lane and I'm seeing results and things are happening. Some people still might think I'm crazy, but you know, others get it and they get the science behind it. And sure enough, I'm hearing more and more about people talking about neuroscience, otherwise known as brain science, and the different things you can use. And I'm thinking, yeah, but drumming's way more fun, and it is neuroscience. So there's that. And neuro arts. People are now realizing how you can use the arts for healing. It's like, well, yeah, kind of way ahead of you guys. I've been doing this for almost 12 years, worked with thousands of people, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that's good. And I think too is that what you were saying too, Dory, is that it's really important to understand too in flowing in your purpose in the marketplace and flowing in your passions is that there's other people that God has put that same message into. And that's where that collaboration piece comes into, right? And you begin to see, you know, oh, okay, wait a minute. So I'm not so crazy, because God's going to let you know you're not crazy. Even when you feel like oh,
exactly.
You know, you're not so crazy. And we're called to blaze trails. And that's what we have to really begin to understand, that sometimes this purpose piece, you're called to blaze a trail because it's going to look a little bit different and a little crazy. Let me bring Phil back in. He over there messing with buttons.
You know what happened? My internet went out. So I had to switch to my backup.
It's gonna look a little different and a little crazy sometimes, but it is what it is. I think about the holistic wellness field, and I've been a certified herbalist. A lot of people don't know I've been a certified herbalist since 2011. And when I got that certification, I got it for my family. And every now and then, you know, when people would get sick, especially in my family and other states, what can I take for such and such, such and such? And I'm over there giving them the recipes, you know, go buy this herb, go do that, make sure you take this, get this oil, do that, not knowing that God was going to help me to utilize it in helping people to become mentally and emotionally stable so they don't have to take medication. Because a lot of people will go pop a pill. You don't have to pop a pill. Let's try this. Let's try that. Let's try these different things, you know. And so it's really important that we get that piece, that just like Joy said, nothing is wasted in the kingdom. And you begin to kind of go, oh, this has been here the whole time. I just didn't know it. And don't be afraid to test that thing, you all. That's the thing. Don't be afraid to test what it is that you see God showing you. Like, it's okay. And it's okay if it doesn't quite work the way you thought it was supposed to work. I had a vegan family magazine years ago, y'all. Y'all wouldn't even know that. And you know why? Because it flopped. But that wasn't the direction I was supposed to go in with what I was doing. And I had no idea about that. I had a whole vegan family magazine. I think I had like 10 subscribers to it or whatever, you know. But it was there. You know, I just didn't know. And here I am, full circle, all these years later. No, I am not about to put together a vegan family magazine because I am not vegan. Okay. I wasn't totally vegan then. I was lying. Now I was lying to who I was married to. I wasn't all vegan. I was sneaking and eating meat. So anyway,
truth comes out. Here we go.
Listen, but you know, I thought it would work. It didn't work because it's not where God wanted me for a number of reasons. We're gonna keep that there, right? So in thinking about your purpose and your in the marketplace and thinking about your business, and the challenges you may have faced with it. What's been some of the biggest challenges? And like, I'm moving in my purpose, but woo, this is a stretch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you're tooling along, Latara, and you know, excuse me, that you've heard from God. When I was questioning, is this really going to work? I had a lot of visions and words from the Holy Spirit, a lot of encouragement, a lot of inklings to check out this and research that. I knew I was on the right track, and things were going pretty well there for a while, even during COVID. I mean, virtually it even worked, and I thought, wow. And then things started drying up. So I thought, okay, what's going on here? I thought I was doing what I was supposed to be doing and living my purpose. God, you told me, Dory, use the drums. Because I said, give me a way to heal myself and heal others. And that was the answer I got. Is the direction changing? And am I supposed to sell the drums and do something else? I got 25 drums. What the heck am I supposed to do with all this? And it really makes you take a step back and go, I need a little bit more clarity and some specifics. Flashing neon lights would be really, really good right about now. That's what I was telling God.
That's good. That's good. Phil or Brandon, let me just break real quick. Hold on, y'all. I did not know this, but Shay Bynes had to come in, being who she is, okay? And remind us that today is the 11th anniversary of the KDE podcast. Now we're doing here we go with a pivot. We're doing it different now, but it's been here for 11 years.
I see her with the comment that says I was lying.
That's you talking about me when I said I was lying.
Oh. All right, I'm just checking.
So happy anniversary, KDE
All right.
podcast.
Wait. Here we go.
All right.
Yeah, that deserves a drum roll.
Happy anniversary. I love it. Love it. I am so excited, y'all. I could keep on going with that, but let's get back into this purpose thing. Here's that pivot though. Again, here's that pivot part. When Shay knew it was time for her to stop, I think inside she also knew it wasn't time for the podcast to stop. But what does it look like from here? What does that look like? Where do we go? And this is a part of the purpose piece, and we'll get back into the challenges, is that she began to dream. And then we all began to dream together as a team. Like, well, what does that look like? What do we do? You know, and then here we are, right? That's good. That's really good. That's good.
Yeah, as I think about the growing in the purpose thing, it's something that one of you said earlier. I think it might have been you, Latara, when we were talking about, purpose and sometimes frustration and things of that nature. What came to mind for me is a lot of times when we have to pivot, it was about the pivot. When we have to pivot, it is centered around our vision no longer being big enough to serve where God wants to take us next, right? The revelation, like he's about to give us new revelation on what your purpose is, and what you had before was serving you just fine, but now he has to take you to something else so that you can see more of the picture. And that's how I see things happening with my purpose all the time. Like I'm living in one level of the understanding, and I'm constantly trying to live out of that place until he brings another portion of the vision or another piece of revelation that expands the vision a little bit more. It gives me a further vantage point so I can see more of the vision that he's trying to cause me to walk into in my purpose.
Oh, that's good, Phil. That really makes you think, because there's seasons where God is giving you just a little bit. This is your season for learning something, maybe, or for operating in a certain space before he can elevate you to the next level, because now that you've got all the knowledge or the business expertise, whatever you needed to gain, you got it. Now he can move you onto something bigger. Ooh,
that's good. Yeah, that's good. What about you, Brandon? What about the challenges and things?
Yeah. And right before I share a challenge, fun fact. So 11 years ago, when the podcast was just getting started, not to make anyone feel more mature, but I was getting ready to graduate high school. I thought I might just throw that out there. for the listeners
Thanks, Brandon.
and you guys.
We
You're welcome.
appreciate that. And that
I
doesn't
said
make me
mature.
feel old at
Wait,
all.
wait, hold on.
Right?
That was him ribbing, y'all. Yeah, he don't. He was ribbing.
Hey, I said mature. I said mature.
Wait, let me go grab my walker. Hang on.
No, I thought I'd show that. But from the challenge perspective, definitely my biggest one was whenever, as Latara mentioned earlier, went from a larger financial services company to being independent, and then also in 2 months right after that, my wife and I moved to Southern California, where we are now, and where she's originally from. So we were just doing all of the pivots all at once, essentially. And even looking back, it's definitely been a challenge. I mean, you go from a large company, more of a corporate culture, a little bit of flexibility, but kind of you're told what to do, versus now it's, hey, the world is your oyster and you get to make all of these decisions, which can be both a blessing and a curse if you let the overwhelm get to you. And to be honest, things were a bit slower than I expected them to be in the first couple of years. So fortunately, over the last year or so, things starting to pick up a bit more, but it was definitely challenging moving to a higher cost of living area, basically rebuilding a bit of a business that I had built in West Virginia, where we moved from before. So that was definitely a big challenge, but I also knew that I was walking in my calling, walking in my purpose. So that was one of the things that, even though externally things might not have been quote unquote successful, I knew that I already had success, the kingdom success that we talk about, because that faith plus obedience equals kingdom success, right? So I knew I had that, and then the exterior or external success was going to come if I kept following that path.
Yeah, that's good. When I think about the challenges stuff, I think about how a lot of times when you're moving in what it is that God is calling you to in the marketplace, you get stretched in those areas, right? And I think about my life and how many times there have been pivots and there have been some things that have happened. Listen, I've been through some stuff that some of y'all be like, what? And not that my life is like any better or have more tragedy than anybody else, but in the last, especially since really moving into this thing with the mental and emotional health, I have watched these things just like I'm telling y'all, I'm looking for Ashton and the punked cameras. Like, am I being punked? I'm sorry, Brandon, are you old enough to remember that? Okay.
I know that show.
I had to get them back. But I'm looking for the cameras, and every time it just gives me more par for the course. It's like it gives me more to work with. And I remember talking to somebody a couple of weeks ago, and they said to me, "What are you doing?" We were talking, and he said, "You sell your experience. People are buying your experience." He said, "I'm not saying anything is wrong with that. That's good." And I thought about it, and a lot of times we're being challenged. You're being challenged right in the area, right, where God is like, listen, this is a stretch into your business. This is a stretch into what it is that I want you to do. And it also, because it gives me insight into people. It gives me more insight into people and the stories that they live. And that's why people can resonate with me and they connect with me and they go, wow, you just keep it really real. You're just so authentic. Because I've been there, done that, baby. Yeah. I get it, right? I've been there, done that. And I think that when you're being stretched in those areas, don't look at it as, oh my God, God is punishing me. How about there's some growth there? There's something that has to happen. And there's something that God is saying that this is a part of what I want you to do in business. Here's a service. Here's a product. Here's a course, right? Here's structure for your season, is because I realized one day, well, really, Shay realized it. We realized one day, that's a whole course. You've been living this stuff out for 4 years now. That's a course. Like, oh my gosh, it is. So we have to really watch that and don't get so knocked down when we're struggling or we get those challenges. Ask God, what's the purpose? Why, Lord? What am I going? Why this?
Exactly, Latara. I know that I wouldn't wish my accident on anyone because, it triggered all kinds of really fun stuff and took 3 years to recover and all that. And I asked, God, why me? There were 200 people in the crowd. How come I was the only one hit? And a friend of mine said, why not you? you were the most flexible in the bunch because, I was doing a lot of exercising, swimming, and all kinds of things. So I know how to fall, former runner. So I didn't get as severely injured as the two little girls next to me would have if I didn't take the hit, number one. Number two, I never would have discovered the healing power of drumming if I wasn't in that space at that time, at that exact moment where I got run over. So I tell people all the time when I do talks, chances are you've never been run over by a speeding bicyclist in a crowd of 200 people. But I know that you've experienced something in your life that has thrown you for a loop. Maybe it was a job loss, maybe business failure, maybe divorce, maybe a death in the family, which made you wonder, God, now what? I was here doing my thing, and now what am I supposed to do? And that's when God enters in and says, oh, I'm glad you finally asked.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I would like to say the interesting part that I found in my business with my purpose and pivots and things of that nature is sometimes the very thing that he gave you as an answer, eventually he will take it away as the answer, right? So I have an example of like part of my purpose in the beginning with my massage practice. I wanted to offer affordable massage because I wanted everybody who wanted massage to be able to get it, right? And one of the solutions he brought to me was an industry standard, which is do packages, right? And so I was doing packages, and I was doing it in such a way where it was helping me bring money in the household, helping me, especially when KDE was not making money. It was doing all those things for me. But at some point, it hit a point where I was like, these packages are actually doing me a disservice, because I have people buying all these massages in advance, and they're not using them right away, and they're becoming a liability. Lord, what is this about? And then eventually that was the very thing that led me to begin to meditate and think about how could I do it differently, the membership thing, right? And so the thing that he gave me as a solution eventually had to take away from me because it would lead to more problems if I stayed on that path. So as he brought in the vision, as he brought in my revelation, he was like, this is good, but it's not good to only live here, put a limit on it and go this way as well.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah. That's good. He will give you a solution. And this is where some people get stuck. They get stuck in the solution. And then it's like, well, wait a minute, it's not working no more. Well, that was for that moment. That was for that moment. So always be looking to God. The ultimate solution is okay, well, I see it starting to dry up. I see something is happening here, and seek understanding, along with the wisdom. Get the understanding of what the wisdom is teaching you in the moment. Like, okay, I see this, right? I had to change my entire language for the whole soul care thing. And it was a call from Tony, Dr. Tony Robinson. And she was like, you need to change your language because the term soul care is becoming too watered down, and everybody is using it. And people are starting to get confused on what it is. So you need to change your language, right? Then a couple of weeks later, she called me again, and you're changing your audience too, right? I was like, yeah, I'm already changing my audience. So I knew that this was happening because I began to see that what was once a solution, I used to could put what's called a soul detox out and get it filled up like that. The last one I put out, 0 people signed up. Like, that's when I knew, let me shift something here. It's just not hitting the way that it did before. It was a solution at the time, but God is like, listen, they're not hearing that no more. Let's do something different. Let's shift what this looks like, right? And we gotta learn how to get unstuck from being stuck inside of a solution that may not work for us anymore.
Yeah, I think it's about holding it loosely, right? Like not thinking that one solution is forever, because I think the two extremes when we're thinking about solutions are the one we're just going to hold on to it forever. This worked in the past, so I'm just going to grit my teeth and try to force it to work because we don't want to change. We're afraid of change. Or there's the other side that I know myself at times, and maybe some of you and some of the listeners, is the shiny object syndrome, right? Where you're chasing all of the things all at once without discernment, right? And those are the two extremes. And I feel like in different seasons, God's gonna lead you to the right solutions at the right time. So again, back to that intimacy with God piece that we also always talk about. That's going to be the quote unquote foolproof system, if you want to say it like that, to make sure that you're constantly in alignment.
That's good. That's good. That was from the youngin, y'all. I'm gonna mess with him.
He's not going to hear the end of this.
I'll take it.
That was really good. So as we begin to kind of like wrap this up, I have one more question. Is there a scripture that kind of resonates with you when it comes to how you are fulfilling your purpose in the marketplace?
Yes, Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans that I have for you, says the Lord, plans to prosper you and not harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. So even when things look like there's no hope, there's always hope. So hang in there. You never know where God is going to lead you next. Get ready.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
For me, this was a verse that you highlighted for me, Latar, and it's just resonated ever since. Psalm 37:4. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he'll give you the desires of your heart. Again, that ties in perfectly with this. There's a reason that God has given us those passions, those desires.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And my favorite is, if any man lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives liberally and finds no fault in it. I can't tell you the address.
Yeah, I mean, I think mine's is Psalms 139, verses 13 and 14, because that's how God began to wake me up into, here's where I need you. You are wonderfully made. I see you as an awesome individual, and I want you to go and share that awesomeness in this way. This is what I want you to do. And I lean into that a lot, especially when you get to that point when you're being challenged. And it's like, God got to remind me, didn't I say I made you in awe and wonder? Let's keep going. We got to keep going. So that's one of mine. These were all good. I love all the scriptures. So yes. And I just love that Brandon is just holding on to, that's what happens when you mentor well.
It stuck with me. And that was 6 years ago.
That was a very long time.
2019, maybe five.
Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. Yeah. This was good. This was so good. Happy anniversary again, KDE Podcast. 11 years, y'all. Woo. I love it, man. 11 years. And just to think that we're actually coming up here in a couple of months on the 500th episode. And I already have some really cool ideas of what we're going to do and how we're going to celebrate the 500th episode. So, of course, Shay Vines will be on here. I don't need her emailing me, sending me no Voxer, nothing like that, asking me when she's coming back on again, because she will, because, that's how we roll. And so I'm excited about that, because that's going to be a fun episode. So y'all stay tuned. Stay tuned, right? So this has been really good. This has been so good. And I think we'll kind of visit this again. And I love having these conversations because everyone here has really, everyone here tries our best to focus on really doing business in partnership with the Holy Spirit. And we've seen some successes and we've seen some, no, but it's all a success because it's all for God's glory, right? No matter what happens, no matter any of that. And so we just want to thank you guys so much for joining us again this week. We appreciate you. Listen, if you're watching this or you're listening to this, share this out with somebody else. If you're not subscribed to our channel, subscribe to the channel. You also can subscribe on any of listening platforms like Spotify or Apple Podcasts. I don't even know half of the ones that's out there these days, but there you go. That's 2 of them, okay? Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
And Brandon can tell us the rest.
So, you guys know how to go find them and go check it all out and all that stuff, because it's always a new one popping up somewhere. I was looking last night and I said, what is that one? Where did this come from? So just go find you a listening platform and listen to us. And every Wednesday, you get new episodes and you get the episode from the week before via audio. So we're always there for you 24/7. Don't miss that. Okay. So we will see you all again next week. We appreciate you. We love you. Guess what, y'all? We out.
Bye for now. God bless.